I was the night girl that you came over to at night, and you were asking her on dates and telling her cute things. I feel like a piece of trash.
Taylor, obviously this season you were confronting a lot of your past, you know, and even in the first season you've always been so open and vulnerable about it all. I mean, that's the point, right? When you sign up to a reality TV show, I feel like you understand that better than anybody, really. But firstly, going into what went down with Dakota and Jenna, you had a meeting with Jenna and a lot came to light, some surprises, right?
So he's saying, hey, do you want to come over? I'm just hanging with friends. So did you go to him that night?
August 4th?
5th.
No, I didn't go that night.
But clearly, he invited you over.
Yeah.
He was like texting me all day this day. He came over to your house. And he's saying, thank you for letting me crash at your house. And he came over that night to my house and spent the night and me.
I will start with, Dakota. It was a lot to unpack. I think that was the very beginning for me.
Yeah.
Of a lot of others to follow with that I had, no clue about to come my way. So that was very challenging through that coming right before we're about to start, our season 2. So I came in with a lot of emotions, emotional, sad, postpartum. I just had a baby.
Totally.
Anger of being betrayed.
You just told me that you guys had seen each other 3 times.
I don't know, Taylor.
Before all this. And then you're sitting there telling me that he came over and had sex with you? What does that say about you? I'm not pointing fingers. You guys.
That's what I'm saying. I was trash. Then with my family, obviously I'm going through all these emotions and kind of looking for any sort of safe space. And it's for them to, kind of not agree with him, because my family at the end of the day is my people.
Of course.
But I think they're very blunt and honest with me. So they're like, why did you expect to be respected like this when you weren't respecting yourself? And it came off maybe in a insensitive way.
Sure. No, I'm
not
saying,
trash.
No, you're not leaving.
Yes, you did.
What?
No self-respect. I hate me.
What I'm saying, let me finish.
I was at my lowest.
Let me finish. You guys both had so much baggage.
And for me, that was triggering, because it's I already think these things of myself, and you guys know that. So instead of maybe taking a different approach, so that was hard.
That broke my heart watching that. That
I've heard.
negative talk.
I haven't seen it, but I lived it. So it was really, really hard at the time, and it has been ever since to this very day. So it's just, but I've been in a lot of therapy, learning to handle it. And the more you go through those type of things, the better you get at handling it. You get the tools, you learn them, and you're able to use them for things like that. Because in the beginning, when this all came out, I had nothing.
I mean, I could just start listening. We did have sex in the shower with our husbands all together. We also had sex in the same bed at the same time. We would blindfold each other, and you would have to guess which husband you were kissing, and a couple of times we did that. We also had a night where it was just 4 husbands and you and me.
You also go back and open up about what really went down in the soft swinging scandal. How emotional, or I guess, I don't know, freeing was that for you to be so honest and to share your truth and part of the story?
Very freeing, because I think the first season I had to tiptoe, because I'm trying to tell my story without ruining people's lives, saying their names.
There's other people involved.
It is, and so I'm not wanting, even though it was alluded to certain people, I still had never said names, and so for me, I was trying to tell a story that I couldn't tell, really. I think a podcast, finally, I was very detailed on it, and then things kind of exploded. Obviously, when she came on, it gave me...
I was gonna say, then Miranda shows up, so there's...
It gave me more of an opportunity, let's release it.
Taylor, Miranda, where do you stand?
We've had so many conversations about it at this point, and I didn't come into this with... I wanted to face it head on.
You did.
And I'm I am so over the running and the hiding, and I feel like I'm a completely different person.
Totally.
And I've told Taylor this before too. I'm if there's anything that you feel I haven't been forward about, let's lay it all out, because I don't want to still be in the same space that I've been in for so long of confronting things with a level of well, not even really confronting it, but anything I was facing was with a level of guilt and shame. And I'm I just want to lay it all out and move past it once and for all. And I feel we've had a lot of conversations about that, and I think it's been really freeing, partially for her, but also very much for me, where I'm just I really don't care at this point what people think.
How much does it have to do with the fact that you're now divorced from your husband? To quote Oprah, do you feel like you were silent or silenced on this whole matter?
I would say more so silent, because it wasn't necessarily my My divorce, the reasoning for my divorce didn't really have anything to do with the swinging. I think a lot of it was, and why I'm able to be as vocal as I am about it now is because of my stance in the church.
Yeah.
And I think I've been a lot more forward and honest with my family about where I'm at. And I think that was a lot of it was social pressures and religious pressures.
Yeah.
And since I've let go of that, I feel like a lot more free to speak freely about it.
And now you could really, truly heal and start putting that in the past, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's talk about Halloween, because I don't know if you guys remember Halloween, but it was an
we
intense part. Of course you do.
We remember that.
Right?
I won't ever forget it.
Where's your husband?
He's upstairs. Don't touch me again.
All right.
I just see red.
Demi, of course, you say Chase touched you and your husband goes in.
He just laid his hands on me.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Oh, like I just woke up a monster.
Outside. He's outside.
This guy's gonna die tonight. Chase is going to die on the front lawn.
Why is he shirtless?
Yeah. What do you mean, Brett?
What's happening?
Looking back, do you feel like you wish that would have been handled differently? Any regrets there?
No. There was a lot going on behind the scenes, and a lot that will come to the surface as to where that came from, the demonstrative, like, speaking out on it.
Yeah.
He did touch me, and it wasn't an intense, like, he didn't get super physical, but he came up and pushed me on the hip. And I think in that moment, there was so much going on behind the scenes for me, with behavior that I had dealt with men for years, and things that were very fresh, that I think in that moment, I was just like, this is enough, like, no more.
You crossed the line.
Yeah, and my reaction was valid. You should never touch a woman, I don't care how it is, unless she wants it. And no.
You don't think you overacted a little bit, though?
No, I think given the circumstance of what I was going through behind the scenes, and then him to come up and think it was okay to, like, go like this and shove me.
I know, but I don't think he
okay.
shoved you. I saw him, like, touch your arm, though.
He went like this to my hip. Which is that, I don't think any touch is appropriate.
No, I'm
from
not saying, like,
a man that's not consensual, correct?
No, yeah, I don't think he should have
No.
touched you, but I just didn't feel like it was a shove.
I don't either.
Or
Well,
did
it wasn't a shove, okay. He went up and pressed my hip, but that's not okay. Like,
Right.
I asked,
didn't give the male stripper consent.
that's a completely different story. I talked to Mayci earlier, and I said, if this were you and you were in this with this circumstance, how would you feel about that? And you said it wouldn't be okay. Like, I wouldn't feel comfortable.
I don't think a man should touch you, period, but yeah.
Let me ask you this then. Do you think it warranted the reaction that your husband had, after the fact?
No, but he also wasn't given all the entire
Of course. He
information. He reacted and went into protector mode, which
Yeah.
I appreciated, because I'm like, that's how you should be
That makes
in
sense.
any circumstance. I mean, Zach didn't have all the information in terms of Chippendales, and what did he do? Jumped up to protect. And so in that moment, it's like he did what he should do as my husband and as a man, and stepped in to protect. And so no, I don't fault him for that. I think that it definitely was a case of, like, heightened emotions, and there was a lot going on. There was protection towards Taylor, of watching Chase point his finger in her face and, like, talk to her the way that he was, to watching his girlfriend crying and him not tending to her, and then him coming up and doing that. It was just all of it, like, it was just like, get out of here. Like, what are you doing here?
There's
like,
a reason
you
why
need
this
to
is
go.
split up into 2 episodes. Halloween is, like, both 2 and 3.
Exactly.
Just so you know, there's a lot that goes down.
There was a lot that happened, and context matters.
This is the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I literally am thinking it's a joke. I'm watching Zach the whole time, and he looks pissed off.
I gotta ask you, Jen, what was your reaction when you first saw a Chippendales dancer? Was there a jump scare a little bit?
Yes, it was definitely a jump scare because I expected it to be way less. I thought it was just gonna be Brett in the moment. I was not expecting a male stripper, and of course that wasn't communicated to Zach. None of it was communicated to Zach, which I take full accountability for, but it definitely put me on the hot seat. I never it was never communicated to me that I'd be seated in a seat and that there would actually be a male stripper. So that was a surprise itself. So it was definitely a lot to navigate, because I was also trying to, like, somewhat be, like, lighthearted about it, but you could clearly see, like, you'll see on the show that I'm clearly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I was like, oh, was it, I have to ask Demi, was it a dig? Was it pointed to have a Chippendale dancer there? Were you trying to recall and harken back to that first season drama?
No. I think it was a play on what had happened, but everything was communicated to Jen. She's false in her recall. We completely filled her in that a Chippendales dancer would be there. I actually have it on camera, so.
Not Chippendales dancer though.
Yeah, Chippendales, and that it would be Jordan and Brett. It was never just Brett. So she's aware of that. I don't know why she's lying. It's interesting.
No, I'm not lying.
It's on camera, and I have the footage. So
I've actually seen the footage, and it doesn't include the Chippendales. Yeah, it doesn't.
Okay.
They said
and
it's a surprise.
That might not be on camera, but it was talked about.
So then
in
don't
the
say
salon.
she's false.
Well, she consented, is what I'm saying, on camera.
But she's saying it's false. Did you? She's not. I've seen the footage.
You said you were down. You said you were down for it all.
Like right now
would be a good time to have
unraveling
some
things.
Chippendales.
Like,
She said she was down for it all, and that she thought we shouldn't fill in Zach.
Okay,
so
well, the only
that's why it went
apology
the way that it went.
the only person that deserves an apology is Zach, and I've given that to him. So I'll go from there.
Are you doing photos?
I'm done early. We will.
I think we will. Okay, so you're gonna be hanging out with us.
Jen was definitely judging Demi for being flirty with these guys. If that's okay in your marriage, I'm not judging you for it. But then Jen turned around and flipped it as a way to use it against her, almost as blackmail.
all right, we have to talk about a major Hulu crossover with Vanderpump Villa. Demi, can you set the record straight on that? I mean, what happened with you and Marciano?
Nothing happened on my end.
Okay.
That's all I'll say on that for now, because it has become a serious and like online matter and legal at this point. But nothing on my end. But he was definitely interested in me, for sure.
And Jen, your reaction to that?
Well, apparently I have a cease and desist against me, so I'm
Prove
not
it.
able to talk about
Pull it up.
Okay, well.
Oh, so it really is a thing.
Oh yeah,
Outside of-
I'd love to see the
yeah.
cease and desist that was served.
Okay,
Pull it
well,
up.
Everyone knows about. Well, everyone knows that you tried to get.
Pull
a
it
cease and
up.
desist.
If I sent one to you, you'd have proof. So
Okay,
pull
well,
it up.
I have many people to back me up on that.
Oh,
so.
pull it up. It's not hard. If it's
Okay,
in your
well-
email or text, pull it up.
Okay, but that was mentioned to me. I'm just saying.
Mentioned or you got served?
I
one?
will talk about Vanderpump Villa.
Mentioned
You
or
want me
you
to
got
talk?
served?
I will talk about
go
it
for
right
it.
now.
Yep, go. Go ahead.
Sounds like
well,
you
I'm
can't.
done.
Yeah, it sounds like you can't.
Okay.
Bluff.
Is there anything you want to say?
Let's just say there's a reason why she tried to shut me up about it. There's a reason why she's played chess all season 2, as she knew that I'd talk about it. And so she's tried to make it very clear to the whole world that I'm some liar, but clearly she's the one lying. And I had the receipts.
Your husband called you a liar.
Oh, but you just wait and see. You just
Your
wait and see.
husband called you a
We
liar.
pull up the receipts. You just wait for future seasons. That's all I have to say.
I was sexually abused for about like 4 or 5 years. I was young, and so I didn't exactly know what was going on. I think everyone has their own little like vulnerable, really digging into triggering matters. Trauma. Trauma and triggering subjects. Yeah, as far as I know.
Mikayla, I mean, was that cathartic for you this season?
Yeah, I think
bet it's
watching
hard.
it back's gonna be hard because it was kind of my first time actually working it out, especially with my family and like my husband, so that's not gonna be fun. But I think I just like to look big picture of it all. I think it's definitely gonna be helpful to someone out there and myself and my marriage and relationships, so. Nothing's changing. So I'm like, I think you're exhausted, I'm exhausted. There's really no other answers other than like, I feel like taking a good step back.
Taylor, can I ask for an update on your relationship? Where do things stand with you and Dakota?
Honestly, for me, I had told him that I wanted to individually heal a lot of our own issues that we have separately because we can't, do that together, as we can see throughout season 1 and 2.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's right now, that's where I'm at, is I want to focus on myself, do some self-healing, and I'm not in a place where I want to be in a relationship. I'll never say never, but as of right now, the focus is on me so I can be there for my children.
This brings me to my next question, because I was going to ask, what are the relationships like today between the group?
Can you tell?
I can kind of tell,
Can you tell a
but
little
just
bit?
for clarity, let's raise your hand if you're beefing with someone in this group.
I think everyone's always beefing every day of the week.
I think it's very clear.
And does it change, like who's beefing with who? Or
I think
pretty
100% is
I-
changing
okay.
against who.
Okay.
Yeah.
And quickly, Whitney, you're back in Mom Talk.
I think so.
I know, right? You're like, where are we in the season? And
Oh, God.
I mean, you couldn't stay away for too long, right?
Yeah.
5 finally, obviously there is still some tension in this group, but let's open the floor. Anything you want to get off your chest while we are here? Dr. Denny is here to facilitate. I mean, this could be the beginning of our healing process here. Anything anybody wants to get off their chest?
How much time you got?
I think that when people watch the show, at least my hope too, I think in Utah specifically, there's this culture to be perfect. And I love that none of us are in this group, that we all have faults. Every single one of us is going through something. And I think it's enlightening, and I hope that for any viewer watching that, it's like, wow, like, I hope they feel valid in the stuff that they've gone through and the feelings that they've had, where it's like, especially in Mormonism, we have this perfect persona, right? Where it's like, you know, most of us are Mormon. And I love that we're breaking that, where it's like, no, we're not perfect, we're human, and we're all trying to figure it out.
I hope you guys do see and feel the impact that this show has made, and just, it's not an easy thing to be on TV, first of all, right? And also to open your lives like this.
For sure.
And you guys get real. Like, this is as real as it gets. And I can even tell just chatting with you guys. Seriously. I know you kept looking at me like, it's
like,
this is us.
cut the tape.
No, I really do appreciate you guys. So, and also, at the end of the day, it is a really entertaining TV show. So you got a good product there, and I'm so proud to meet you guys. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Appreciate your time.